My name is Brenna Lubes. I am 21 years old, and I am currently studying at Mid-Michigan Community College for a nursing degree. I am taking compassions, obviously, because it is required, but I think it's more than that. I have learned so much about myself in the last 14 weeks, and honestly, going into nursing, I always assumed that I would need a little compassion. I feel like I already have a good foundation of compassion, but my intentions for nursing is to better the lives of people around me, so I feel like compassion just is going to continue to build, and each day I'm going to continue to learn new things. Compassion is something we talk about constantly, but I feel like we rarely understand deeply. When I started this course, I thought compassion was simply just kindness. Now, after studying psychology, culture, evolution, and 4 human interviews, I realized compassion is one of the most complex forces shaping humanity. In this project, I'm going to explore one question. When it comes to compassion, why are humans the way that they are? Before this semester, compassion just felt simple. You see someone hurting and you help them. Someone needs the door to be held for their groceries, you hold it. I never really thought about trauma, culture, biology, or the fears that actually can block compassion. This school semester, we have been delving into Paul Gilbert's book regarding compassion and how to apply it in your own life. In chapter 1, he discusses that compassion involves sensitivity to suffering, combined with a commitment to alleviate it. On page 7 of chapter 1, he states, compassion is the acknowledgement that not all pain can be fixed or solved, but all suffering is made more approachable in a landscape of compassion. So even when we are compassionate, it doesn't mean we have answers or that we can fix the problem, but being compassionate helps. This definition changed my entire outlook on compassion. Compassion isn't passive, it's a skill, it's a motivation, and sometimes even a struggle. As I interview these next 4 applicants, I have noticed a connection between all 4 of them that, they may have been shown compassion or maybe they haven't, and that's how they apply it in their own life. And it's not always easy, and it really can be a struggle each day. How would you personally define compassion?
I think that it's compassion is similar to empathy and kindness in that you care very deeply about someone's circumstance and their situation. However, compassion is a draw to action, if you will. So you can empathize with someone's circumstance and think, wow, I can imagine what it would be like to be that person. But then when you have compassion, you want to do something about it. Whether that be get them what they need or take them up someplace that, if they don't have transportation, or, if they're struggling with something, you figure out a way to get that. So what you're doing is helping within their suffering to help make things better.
One major question of this course was whether compassion is universal across the globe. And what I found is that compassion is both universal and completely different everywhere. In chapter 4, Gilbert describes how evolution shaped caregiving behaviors across cultures. Humans everywhere experience empathy, but they express it differently depending on social values. He states on page 31, we are aware that we are aware, with a conscious of consciousness, within limits. Humans have some awareness to not only feel, but know that they feel and often what they feel. Not only to act, but know what they are doing and why they are doing it. Acting with intentions in a way that no other animal probably can. I feel like during this quote, Paul Gilbert is saying that humans have a special kind of awareness that goes beyond basic feelings and actions. Animals can feel things and react to their environment, but humans can feel emotion, notice when they're feeling it, understand why they're feeling it. When you look at someone and they're visibly sad, you can say, hey, are you okay? We don't really necessarily see that in animals or how they connect with other of the same kind of species. To explore this a little bit more, we studied the Yamato Japanese compassion culture. It's what our small group picked, and especially the cultural idea of omayari, which means anticipating others' needs without them asking. So in American culture, compassion is more individual and emotional. We value openness, expressing feelings, and offering verbal support, whereas Japanese compassion values harmony, quiet action, and minimizing social disruption. So, do we all feel compassion? Absolutely yes. Do we show it in the same way? Not necessarily. Can you describe a time in your life when you received compassion when you were in need?
Well, I mean, I've had several surgeries, and my husband and the kids have been there for me and taken great care of me, just trying to help me feel better and get through that first couple of days, and making sure that I was comfortable and that I didn't have to worry about things, that you normally would on any given day.
Do you think small acts of service was like useful for you? Like
Definitely.
Making the bed or making food or
Yep.
making dinner? I feel like when we think about compassion, it's normally like small acts of service, but it can be like a hug or a conversation.
Right. You just stay there and rest,
Yeah.
and I'll let the dog out. I'll take care of the dishes or the laundry
Right.
or, the dinner or the kid.
This brings up a difficult question. Could the entire world ever be fully compassionate? Gilbert argues in chapter 6 that humans experience fears and blocks to compassion shaped by trauma, shame, power, and competition. He states in chapter 6 that compassion-focused therapy enhances feelings of comfort and safeness and the associated inclination to positively relate to oneself while feeling socially safe with others. The oxytocinergic system has been found to be involved in the expression of such feelings. Specifically, oxytocin administration reduces feelings associated with separation distress, increases a positive view of oneself, and promotes a positive perception of social aspects of the self. So, the oxytocin system, sometimes called the bonding hormone, plays an important role in this process as well. When oxytocin levels increase, people often feel less lonely. They see themselves in a more positive way and feel more trust and warmth in social environments. These blocks vary by culture, religion, childhood experience, and personal trauma. Some people fear vulnerability. Some people just don't trust others. Some live in systems that discourage empathy because survival comes first. This means humans can be compassionate, but we don't always choose it. Another big question is whether compassion is innate. In chapter 3, Gilbert explains that humans are born with biological caregiving systems or neurological circuits designed for bonding. He states, the narrative of our distant past can influence who we feel we are and what we believe in subtle ways. Past cruelty instills a certain fear and makes us somewhat more lacking in trust about others' intentions, whilst acts of kindness in the far distant past have a certain power to inspire, especially if they took place in conditions in which compassion might be hard to find. And that comes from page 17. So for a very compassionate person, it might be easier to extend this level of understanding and concern, but for someone with trauma, fear, or even lack of trust, it can affect the way we give and receive compassion. How compassion can so quickly be taken as judgment or persecution. Gilbert unfolds this throughout his novel and the importance of patience and understanding as everyone experiences different emotions. But if we're born with compassion, why aren't we all compassionate? Because compassion is like a seed. If it grows in a safe environment, it thrives. If it grows in trauma, neglect, or emotional coldness, it struggles. Trauma, shame, fear, and insecure attachment can shut down this care system. This is why two people raised in different circumstances can end up with completely different capacities for compassion. Let's see. Our real life experiences with compassion, which one was more meaningful? Was there an experience or a time?
It's kind of easy to talk about death, but there was also a time when I was a birth coach.
Okay.
3 times for a former youth. And it'd be really easy to judge and throw in somebody's face that they had a baby without the husband, and here you are in church. Instead, it was necessary to love that person and to be there for them. And now I have the benefit of being able to interact with those children
Yeah.
that I helped bring in the world. It would have been real easy for me to turn my back and say, I'm sorry for your bad luck.
Right.
But God doesn't make mistakes when children come along.
Right.
So why would I judge her when I'm not perfect?
I didn't know that you were a birth coach.
3 times.
Okay.
Autumn and her 2 brothers after.
Okay. I'm sure that took a lot of compassion.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Because I didn't always agree with her choice of partner. But it didn't matter. The kids didn't ask for that.
Right. You just love on them no matter what.
You know.
Compassion isn't new. Every major world religion, Buddhism, Christianity, Islamic religion, has a rich history of teaching mercy, kindness, and moral responsibility. But modern psychology shows that there's actually science behind what ancient traditions have taught us. In chapter 2, Gilbert explains how compassion influences the nervous system, lowers stress, and activates brain circuits linked to safety and connection. He states, prosocial behavior depends on brain mechanisms that enable us to understand others' minds and share their emotions. Mirror neuron systems and neurochemicals such as oxytocin support our ability to empathize, cooperate, and form trusting relationships. These biological foundations make compassion possible, showing that helping others is not only a social ideal, but a deeply rooted part of human nature. So our ability to connect with others is built into the brain itself. Humans evolved to feel and understand what others experience through specialized neurons and hormones that reinforce trust and cooperation. Compassion, then, isn't just something we learn, it's part of what keeps us alive as a social species. It's vital to the makeup of our body. We feel and understand not by a conceivable source, but because the chemicals our body produces enables us to. Compassion literally changes the body. It slows the heart rate, it strengthens resilience, it increases cooperation, and it supports healing. And yet, the fight or flight system often overpowers compassion when we feel threatened. This is why human compassion is inconsistent, even though the writing for it is ancient. One of the most powerful things I learned this semester is the role of storytelling. Gilbert emphasizes that compassion grows when we understand context and when we see the full story behind another person's suffering. In chapter 10, he states, "So being sensitive to the distress and needs of others with an interest in helping originates in case-selected strategies. These strategies build motives with stimulus detection responses for caring, which are elaborated through evolution, subject to genetic variation, and become modified and regulated through social intelligences. These create its phenotypes." This section discusses being sensitive to others' distress and motivated to help isn't just a moral or emotional trait, it's actually an adapted one. The passage explains that compassion developed as part of our biological design, equipped with stimulus detection systems that allow us to recognize when others need care. Over time, evolution has elaborated on these systems when compassion became not only a mechanism for survival. In other words, caring behavior communicates to others that we are trustworthy and cooperative, which strengthens social bonds and group collaboration. This process, combined with genetic diversity and social learning, shapes how compassion is expressed in different individuals and cultures. Each person has a story, and understanding that story makes being sensitive to one's feelings just more natural. It's a trait we adapt, being delicate to other stories and emotions. Stories activate empathy in a way information alone never can. When someone tells their story, we understand them not as other, but as human. My interviews reminded me that compassion became real when we step into someone else's world. What advice could you give someone who wants to be more compassionate but doesn't exactly know where to start?
Go out, look around, drive around, see what's going on, and as always, don't judge the book by the cover. Try to get the whole story. Like, you see somebody struggling or you see somebody upset, get the whole story. Find out why they're struggling or upset.
Don't
And
just
then
assume.
try to help them.
Yeah, don't just assume that you know what they're going through. If you could change one thing about how people show compassion in the world, what would it be?
I'd say I'd probably want people to slow down, take a minute, take a breather, look around, and see what's going on in the world and see what's going on with the person. Or even for themselves, see what's going on, see what's frustrating them or making them upset or making them having a hard time. Just to see, go around, see everything, see what's going on. And then I think they will have a better understanding of compassion.
So I'd like to end my video with the same question that I started it with. Why are humans the way that they are when it comes to compassion? Is it because compassion is shaped by evolution, culture, biology, trauma, and the stories that we share? Is it because some people grow up surrounded by safety, while others grow up surrounded by pain? Or is it because culture teaches us what compassion should look like, and sometimes those lessons can clash? This semester taught me that compassion isn't simple. It's difficult, it's complicated, courageous, and necessary. And despite everything that gets in the way, humans continue trying to show compassion. As the Dalai Lama once said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. Thank you for watching.